Hello, everyone. This is Donna Valente, recruiter, sales, and career development coach for my company Leadership Placement. And I also do coaching with Fobia Sales. And I want to welcome you to what I'm calling a podblog. I think I just made up that term. I married podcast and blog and got podblog. So thank you very much for taking time to listen today. The purpose of this podblog is to follow up to and build on the blog that I posted on April 22nd, the business case for outsourcing sales coaching and why it's powerful. In that post, I talked at a high level about the value of building sales coaching into the organization and creating a coaching culture for sustainable success. I thought it would be a great idea to interview someone who works in executive coaching and leadership coaching to share what they are experiencing with companies as it relates to sales coaching across the organization. So I have with me today Lou Diamond, CEO of Fobia Sales. I've had the pleasure of working with Lou, and I will tell you he is a very charismatic sales leader. Lou has managed relationships at some of the world's largest companies like Oracle, Microsoft, Ernst & Young, JP Morgan, Chase, Wells, Fargo, the National Hockey League, and the list goes on. Hi, Lou. Thanks for joining my podblog.
Thank you for having me, Donna. I'm excited just to hear the word podblog. It's a cool concoction you've come up with. I'm very excited to talk about the topic of your blog.
Oh, thanks. Lou, before we launch into the topic of the business case for outsourcing sales coaching, would you mind giving us a brief snapshot of Fobia?
Absolutely. So Fobia, we like to say, is a leader in sales thinking and development. And we have a completely unique approach to what I like to say is called sales person development. And that's 3 words with a stress on the word person. You know, to grow your revenue, you need to grow your people. And Fobia, and that's F-O-B-I-A, we break away from the traditional training methodologies and we focus on growing the sales person through coaching, enabling them to improve themselves, sell better, and close faster. And that's what we do.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So let me just jump right into some of the questions, Lou. In working with organization, what trends and challenges do you see confronting the sales organizations?
You know, I thought about this, and there's 3 main areas that we're seeing across companies and problems or challenges or difficulties that everyone is going through. First of all, the speed of business today is on rapid fire pace. It moves so quickly.
Yeah.
And with that speed, there feels like there's an even greater pressure to deliver. Things are moving so quickly. Your client's business is changing, your own business is changing, and the speed is definitely something that people feel in their organizations are adding that undue pressure to them. In addition, sales teams are knee-deep in the business. And they're really so focused on all the minutiae and all the activities that go on within their companies or their clients that they're not spending enough time working on their business and focusing maybe on the overall strategy and direction that the company and the sales team needs to be on. And lastly, this is the real difficult part. The big trend we're seeing is that sales teams today are way more mobile and remote, whether they're working from home, out of their office, or in different parts of the country. The sense of actually being in a sales office and in one common building is getting less and less over time. So it's making it very difficult to maintain the culture of not only the sales team, but also of the company organization that they work for.
Yeah, I mean, those are really great points, and I'm sure it's probably going to resonate with a lot of people who are listening. So thank you for that. So why is outsourcing sales coaching such a great strategy compared to having VP of sales and directors coaching the sales teams?
You know, I think a lot of it stems first from that first point I made, which was, you know, that sales leaders are so involved with so many other issues other than just managing and trying to produce top-line revenues for their firms. So they only have that perspective of what's going on in their own organization. Bringing in an outside coach and getting that outside perspective is probably the first and foremost best, you know, practices, if you would, for helping your team get better. Having somebody have almost a view that's that's away from all the politics and clutter that's around the sales leader each day. And also being able to bring in best practices in other areas that they've seen in other companies that have worked effectively. So having both that outside perspective and that agnostic view is really the two key points of outsourced coaching that really help out. And the most important piece is that by bringing in an outside coach, that sole focus is to coach the people on the team, you're really going to get a very dedicated effort to working on growing your individuals and persons versus what that VP of sales or the head of the sales team might have to be dealing with. The outside coach is solely focused on growing that individual and making those individuals excel.
Yeah, and I guess to that point, it might even feel more empowering for the individual reps or people that are being coached to be free about the things that they feel challenged with and the areas they want to grow, as opposed to sharing some of that with their direct report, right? So
that's absolutely true. To almost have that sense of being able to vet and not have to worry about the hierarchical nature of what's going on within the sales organization, and have a chance to discuss those things with an outside coach can be very helpful. It also is really helpful for the sales leader himself, for him to be coached from the outside to figure out the best way to not only lead his team, but also how to coach himself through his organization and in his hierarchy.
Absolutely. I agree. So let's move on to the next question, which is, how is Fobia helping organizations build a sales coaching culture, not only in the sales departments, but across the entire organization?
Yeah, and it's something that we're very conscious of and trying to have as much of a footprint as we can. It all starts at the top, I guess, and that is that we're very focused on working with executive management and the leaders of the company, really to help kind of build a coaching vision that everyone can appreciate and understand, that's really focused on developing the people within the organization. And if you start at the top, that kind of filters down throughout the whole organization. So in working with top executives, we're understanding where they want the company to go and how they want their message and their own personal direction of the company to be filtered through. Mm-hmm. And by almost coaching them, we're kind of really having them basically take that coaching methodology and that coaching philosophy and kind of let it filter down through all the different departments, not only sales, because that happens to be our strong point, but it ends up through account management, operations, even the finance organizations we're working with, to really help them, because everybody's selling all the time, and a lot of it might be they need to help coaching how they sell themselves internally in their organization. So we create this spirit of coaching throughout the company, and what that also ends up doing is it kind of rubs off, and we are encouraging all of the people we're working with to be more coach-like in their engagements, not only with each other across the company, but with their clients that they deal with externally. So this whole coaching culture of making everyone conscious about listening properly and really caring about how everyone is growing puts a good conscious feeling that the organization is looking for a forward direction and constantly encouraging growth. And that's what's most important in our belief in what a coaching culture should be.
Yeah, I agree. It's great. And I love the energy around it too. It's very powerful and empowering. So I appreciate you sharing that. And you know what? We have hopefully some sales leaders that are going to be listening to my Podblog here. So everybody's going to want to know, at a high level, what impact does Fobia have in the workshops have on the participants? For example, is there an increase in performance or any revenue quotas or something that's measurable that you can share with us?
Yeah, I mean, speaking in general, we have a lot of satisfied customers. Our clients who've been either working through us through our workshops or in one-on-one coaching, or even some companies that have actually come to hear me or my colleagues give keynote addresses, we're constantly promoting a message of growth and development. Mm-hmm. And the results have been spectacular, specifically those who've been through our coaching in workshops or one-on-one. In some cases, we have people who've quadrupled their output from the previous year in revenues We have a whole sales team that was on the bottom rungs of where they were throughout the year, and then they moved up into the top 10 in a large sales force of over 200 people. Our results are really about not so much focusing on a specific number or goal, but we're trying to translate that in helping them understand bigger dreams and goals. And I like to always say that we're really in the dream business. And we help people push them and try and achieve them. And when they're stretching for something that's so far off and such a big target, the revenues only come along the way. They're almost like little speed bumps as opposed to mountains, as we help them get really focused on their life goals and on what they care about most. And you know, Fobia is an acronym. It's the fear of being immediately authentic. And a lot of that is helping people to push through those fears to get the dreams that they're seeking. And by doing that, they're getting the numbers, you know, without an issue. In fact, they almost laugh at it after they've been through it, you know, not believing that all they needed was a little bit of chance to work with us to achieve the revenues that they've seen. Yeah,
I mean, sometimes, you know, 10%, something you change just a little bit can make, you know, the revenue numbers and the performance switch significantly. It's amazing. So it's excellent. I really appreciate your giving me that synopsis. Now, there's nothing wrong with a little bragging, Lou. So I think we have another roadshow coming up. You want to just give us a little bit of background on that and how we can get in touch with you to participate?
Yeah, absolutely. We have what we call our roadshow workshop for those that are interested in learning about Fobia. You can go to the website at fobiasales.com or send an email to info@fobiasales.com. Our next roadshow is in New York City, Friday, May 29th. That's after Memorial Day weekend for those that were thinking it might intrude with it.
I did.
A great way. It's a great way to kind of wrap up as we start to get towards the end of the second quarter and think about how we're going to meet your numbers and targets for the rest of the year. It's a mix of excellent people, top sales professionals, and without rubbing my chest and patting myself, some really excellent facilitators as well.
Excellent, and I'll be one of those. So we hope to see you there, everybody. I want to thank you for listening, Lou. Thank you so much for your time, and Donna Valente.
Truly my pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donna.